Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to answer questions related to consumer surplus. Okay, now we need to take note the following when we answer consumer or producers surplus. If we look at this graph, alright, so in the exam normally we will be given the demand function and also the supply function. So what we need to do is to draw a graph, alright, based on the equation given. So we draw a graph and then we need to find the equilibrium point. So from here, once we have found the equilibrium point, then what we do is from the equilibrium point we draw a dotted line to the y-axis, which represents the price, and then from here the area A represents the consumer surplus, and area B, which is below the equilibrium point, will represent the producer's surplus. Now what is consumer surplus actually? So consumer surplus is defined as the total profit gain from the consumer's willingness to pay more than the market equilibrium price, so which is represented by the area A. Whereas the producer surplus is the total profit gain from the ability of the producer to offer a price which is less than the market equilibrium price, and is represented by area B. Okay, let's look at a sample question. The demand and supply function of a company is given by P equals to 100 minus 0.05 Q and P equals to 10 plus 0.1 Q respectively. So determine its consumer surplus. So 10 marks is allocated for this kind of question. So the first step is we need to find where does this demand curve, which is represented by P equals to 100 minus 0.05 Q, intersect the Y and X axis. So what we do is we start off with Q equals 0. So Q is the X axis. When Q is equals to 0, substitute into the demand function here. So we will get Q0 here, 0, 100 minus 0. So P equals to 100. Okay? And then when P equals 0, so P is the y-axis. Alright, so when P equals 0, then substitute P with 0 equals to 100 minus 0.05 Q. So from here, shift the 0.05 Q to the left. So we have 0.05 Q equals to 100. Therefore, Q is equals to 2000. Okay? So next, we do the same for the supply curve. So when Q equals 0, we substitute into supply curve, we will get P equals to 10. And then instead of substituting P equals 0, so what we do is we can substitute Q equals to 500, let's say. So when we substitute into the supply curve function, so we will get P equals to 10 plus 50. The answer is equals to 60. So from here, with the intersections point that we have found, we will plot the demand and supply curve. Alright, so we have the demand curve here, which is 100 minus 0.05 Q, and then the supply curve. Alright, we join those points that we have obtained just now. Okay, so from here we need to find the intersection point, which is the equilibrium point. So I will show you how to find the equilibrium point. Now bear in mind, the question asks us to find the consumer surplus. So the consumer surplus is represented by this area A. Okay, so we'll come to that afterwards. Now to find the equilibrium point, so what we need to do is we take the demand function and supply function, we solve it simultaneously. So since on the left hand side we have P and P, so therefore we take equation 1 equals to equation 2. So we will get 10 plus 0.1 Q equals to 100 minus 0.05 Q. So from here, shift the negative 0.05 Q to the left and shift 10 to the right. So we will get 0.1 Q plus 0.05 Q equals to 100 minus 10. Okay? So from here, 0.1 Q plus 0.05 Q will give us 0.15 Q, and on the right hand side we have 100 minus 10 equals to 90. Therefore Q equals to 90 over 0.15. The answer is 600. Then in order to find the value of P, we substitute Q equals to 600 into any of these two equations. Let's say we substitute into equation 2. So therefore, we will get P equals to 10 plus 0.1 Q. So Q is 600. 600 times 0.1 is 60. 60 plus 10, the answer is 70. So therefore, the equilibrium point is 670. Okay. So in order to find the consumer surplus, as I mentioned, consumer surplus is represented by the area A, which I'm going to draw it here now. Alright, so from the area A, we have found that the point on top here is 100, so this is 70, so the difference is 30. And then the width is from 0 to 600, so the width will be equal to 600. So therefore, the area A, which is a triangle, the formula is half times base times height. So the base is 600 times the height 30. So here 600 times 30 is 18,000 divided by 2. So we will get 9,000. Therefore, the consumer surplus is equals to 9,000. Okay.